Van Meter is a small town in Iowa with a population of just under 1,200. Founded in 1869. But it was between September 29th and October 3rd, 1909 that put this little unknown city on the map, when the town was terrorized by creatures dubbed the Van Meter Visitors. September 29th, 1 a.m. U.G. Griffith spotted a light on in a building in the town. Believing it to be a burglar, he went to apprehend the culprit, but as he got closer, whatever was on top of the building leapt across the street, disappearing into the darkness. 24 hours later, Dr. Alcott, the town's doctor, was sleeping peacefully when a light shined in his face. He woke to see the light from the outside of his window. He quickly jumped out of bed, went to investigate, armed with his gun. He wandered around to find the source, and would come face to face with it. The being was described as a tall humanoid with wings that resembled a bat, and a horn on its head with a blinding light coming from it. Dr. Alcott would fire 5 times at the creature, each shot ineffective. He quickly ran back inside. One of the town's bankers, Clarence Dunn, would be the next to see the creature on October 1st. He had heard Alcott's tale and felt it was necessary to do night watch of the bank. He was armed with a shotgun during his patrol. All of a sudden he heard a strange noise coming from outside. Before he could do anything, a light blared on, blinding him. The light turned off, then back on, scanning the surroundings, eventually coming back to Dunn. He held up his shotgun, aiming it at the creature, and fired at it through the window. The creature disappeared after this. By the next morning, Dunn went to investigate, seeing if he had wounded the creature. While he didn't find any blood, he found proof that was more convincing. A 3-toed footprint. He would get the footprint cast in plaster. The town was soon abuzz with the story of the sightings of the creature, dubbed the Visitor. On October 2nd, O.V. White, who owned the hardware store and lived on the 2nd floor, was awoken by a scraping sound. The Visitor was perched outside on a nearby telephone pole. Grabbing his gun, he aimed at the window, firing at it. The Visitor seemed to have been sleeping at the time and was awoken by the shot, to which it emitted a horrible odor that knocked White out. The commotion at the hardware store woke Sidney Gregg, who was the next-door neighbor. He went outside to see what was going on. He watched as the Visitor descended down the pole, using its beak as it made its way down. Once on the ground, and it stood straight up, he believed its height to be at 8 feet tall. It shined its light before heading towards the mine. The mine was once rich with coal, but was later abandoned. Noises could be heard from within, and a second visitor was said to be seen with the first. On October 3rd, the men of the town banded together, armed with weapons, and went to the mine, waiting for the visitors. They returned just before dawn. The group of men shot at the visitors, but their bullets had no effect, and the foul stench that knocked out White filled the air. The creatures crawled back into the mine, and to this day have never been seen since. What was the Van Meter Visitor? Many have speculated it to be an alien, given its appearance and bulletproof exterior. Others believe it could have been the Jersey Devil. the Snallygaster from Baltimore, and even the Mothman. Indian tribes that lived in the area of Van Meter before it was settled told stories of a thunderbird, a monstrous bird that could create thunder with the flapping of its wings. Since the visitors were last seen, the town has continued to grow, and since 2012 has held an annual Van Meter Visitor Festival. As for the mine itself, traces of it remain today, as just a bowl-shaped dent in the ground, sealed for over 117 years. But who knows what remains underneath it? Some coal not yet mined, tools that were once used by those who worked there, and maybe the remains, or offspring, of the visitors. I'm Creepy the Cryptid, and I hope you will join me next time for another episode. And remember to look around the corner, because you never know what's lurking in the darkness.